unbeatable, I'm unbeatable, I'm unbeatable.
Couple minutes on the score. Every time they wanna clash, the winners kicking through the door. I am unbeatable. Chances running out of stock, and we're running out the clock. I fail once, never stop. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah.
Welcome to the British Basketball League YouTube channel and welcome to our viewers stateside. It's now time for Game 2 in this round of the playoffs. It's a huge moment for the teams who have one up against their opponents, and the Newcastle Eagles have exactly that. On the road, they took a 19-point victory against the Caledonia Gladiators.
Dali goes in, throws it down, and welcome. Are you kidding me? BEA, beautiful play.
See Larry Austin again. That is tough to stop him in transition, I know.
Jordan Johnson and a phenomenal performance.
I'm not gonna lie, 31 on 11 shots is crazy.
We didn't see it going this way at halftime. It was a 2-point ball game, but the Eagles are sorry.
Now, the Gladiators head to the Virtu Motors Arena to see if they can undo the damage done. It's time to find out how it'll all play out. On the mic for this one is Dan Routledge and Manchester Giants guard Evan Walsh.
Thank you very much. Yes, welcome to Newcastle. Only once in a best-of-3 series has a 6 seed beaten a 3. That was at Newcastle's expense back in 1998. They lost to the Towers in Game 3 here on Tyneside. Can the Eagles enjoy the other side of it? Caledonia looking to avoid becoming the first 3rd seed in 5 years, not to make it to the Final Four. They won on their last visit to Newcastle, but it's been 20 years since they've had back-to-back wins on Tyneside. History against them. Can they overturn it here? It's the Newcastle Eagles against the Caledonia Gladiators, and it is do or die for the Scottish side. They have to win if they want to extend their season.
Yeah, you know, the season is on the line right now, and you've got to think that the Caledonia Gladiators are going to throw the biggest punch they've got all season.
Well, they are also without Quade Green, out through an ankle injury. That is a massive blow for them, a massive boost for the Newcastle Eagles.
Yeah, the Newcastle Eagles are probably licking their lips at the fact that Quade Green is not going to be playing tonight. But, you know, that allows for others to step up. Can Bothwell and Whelan carry the load for the Gladiators?
Well, that will certainly be the key for them in the backcourt. Let's have a look at the starting fives for tonight's games. And we've seen consistent fives through the season, but changing it up in the postseason.
Yeah, the chess game is in full flow here with Devin Whitfield retaining his spot in the starting lineup with that strong backcourt of Austin and McGill. And, you know, we've still got Jordan Johnson to come off the bench, hoping to make the same impact he made in Game 1.
31 points off the bench. Sensational for Johnson. At the other end of the floor, no Quade Green means that Bothwell remains in the starting five.
Yes, Bothwell comes back into the starting lineup for the Caledonia Gladiators with Patrick Whelan as his backcourt mate, with a similar lineup for the rest of the season. You know, they've still got some heavy hitters coming off the bench with Johnson and Ali Hozic and the laser, Malcolm Fraser.
Well, they certainly do. Earlier tonight, I managed to catch up with both coaches to see how they were feeling ahead of today's game.
I think the challenge for us is to make sure that we understand these 40 minutes are going to be different, right? I think, you know, the 4-game series against every team this year throughout league play has shown that. So, yeah, we just need to try and make sure that we understand why we were successful in that game. Our intent was great. Physicality was great. I thought defensively, you know, we had some urgency. We did a good job.
They took advantage in the pick and roll with us in terms of switching, icing the ball screens, all that. We weren't really ready to make the understanding of when they were doing each situation. So we worked a lot on that this week. So our offense, obviously, but it's the physicality, the battles.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we played the defensive game that we did, and, you know, we held some of their key guys well under their averages. You know, Pat Whelan still had 20 points. They got to the free throw line, you know, too many times for my liking. But, you know, we understand that some of those guys that maybe didn't play to the level that they expect, they're probably going to come out with a bit of urgency on the offensive end and, you know, maybe look a little bit more assertive, more direct, etc. So
They did a lot of post-ups in the first half against us, and then they get the ball on the two guards, McGill and Johnson. So trying to take those away, make it difficult for others, make their catches difficult, and make other guys make plays.
We are 5 minutes away from tip-off here in Newcastle. We'll break down some of the key players right after this break. Welcome back to our coverage of the British Basketball League playoffs. Let's go through some of the key players in this game now, Evan, and starting with one guy who used to play for the Gladiators. Now he plays for Newcastle. Excellent off the bench, Jordan Johnson.
Jordan Johnson has proved himself this season as a three-level threat scorer. You know, super direct when he gets into the paint, really difficult to stay in front of. And he's got that three ball, you know. He can hit it from anywhere. He decides where to shoot and he's going to let it go.
The other thing about him is he gets to the free throw line more than anybody else. He loves to get in the key, make contact, get two free throws.
Yeah, he gets so low to the ground when he gets in the paint, you know. These guys don't know how to stay in front of him, and then he's so explosive and uses his body really well when he comes up against bigger guards and forwards to draw the contact and get to the free throw line.
Well, he was sensational in that first leg. Another guy who was absolutely tremendous. We should expect no less, of course. He's the all-time leader in winners' medal, Darius Defoe.
Darius Defoe, the super vet of this Newcastle Eagles team. He's carried this team through the season with his personality and his aggressiveness when it comes to getting ready for games. It's not always him putting the ball in the net, but it's setting the tone on the defensive and the offensive end for these guys to follow suit.
Well, that's one of the things sometimes people miss, because obviously he doesn't score as many as he did in the first leg, but defensively he holds them together.
Yes, and he's the loud voice at the back of that defense, commanding people where to be. He's got a lot of respect here in this Eagles team.
No Quad A Green for the Caledonia Gladiators tonight. An ankle injury sidelining their league's leading scorer. A big blow for them. That also has an impact on Clifton Moore Jr., who that pick and roll with Quad A Green and Moore has been really deadly for the Gladiators.
He's flourished here this season since Green has come in. It's really opened up the middle of the floor for him in those pick and roll scenarios. But let's not forget his body of work before Green was here. He's an elite rebounder, can finish across the key, and his mid-range is nice. So we'll see if he can really have an impact here tonight.
And defensively, they call him the block nest monster. You go to the rim at your own peril. One guy they're going to be relying heavily on for offense tonight, surely your former teammate Pat Whelan.
Yeah, Mr. Reliable Patrick Whelan. He's just been getting it done, silently sometimes and loud sometimes. You know, he's a three-level scorer also, and he has expanded his game this year with more on-the-ball play. He's become more comfortable with setting his teammates up and leading his team in offense when others haven't stepped up. You know what you can expect from Patrick Whelan. He's a big-time player, and I'm sure with the backs against the wall, the Caledonia Gladiators are going to look to lean on Mr. Whelan for tonight.
Well, he certainly comes up with big plays when his team needs them. We're almost set for tip-off here in Newcastle. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Newcastle. Paul Unsworth alongside Josh Bowe and Tom Muddyman are three officials for tonight. It's the cross-border skirmish that Caledonia have to win to keep their season alive and push it to Game 3. Newcastle, with the upset win on the road, trying to advance to the semi-finals with a win here today. Here is Moore. All the way to the basket, but off the rim, and Whitfield with the rebound.
It's a direct play right there. Go right at Darius Defoe. See if he can handle Clifton Moore tonight.
Here's McGill. Whitfield round the screens, out to Green, open for three. Good box out by Moore.
Good look there for Stootle's Eagles. You know, Whitfield is a real threat, but getting him off the three-point line, finding Taj Green for the open three, and he missed it.
Well, the one thing I think that Patrick Whelan continues to get better at season on season is his ability to attack the rim. He's obviously one of the best three-point shooters the league has ever seen, but that allows him to get his head down and get to the basket.
And he's an underrated driver. You know, he's so strong when he goes to that right-hand drive. Really hard to stop when he gets into the lane.
Well, Gareth Murray with a lot of thinking to do this week without Quade Green.
Good start here for Patrick Whelan. As a shooter, seeing those first two free throws go straight through the net all string, you know, he's going to feel good and confident in this do-or-die game.
Here's Taj Green rolling to the basket. Nice pass and a good finish.
And that's what he does. He's so efficient when he gets down there in the paint and scoring.
Moore putting it on the floor and hitting from just inside the free throw line.
Don't forget about his soft touch. Even though he's really good around that rim, you know, he can extend that range with those long wingspan.
McGill strings the three.
Not a good sight for the Caledonia Gladiators here. McGill getting hot early.
Such a great scorer. Good news if the first one goes clean through the net like that. Defoe comes up with the loose ball.
This is where Newcastle are deadly, getting out in transition, forcing the referees to call a foul. McGill to the line for two.
Well, they lead the league in points in the paint, partly because of that ability to get to the rim. Well, there's another game going on down in Guildford, where Surrey need to win to keep their season alive. They trail in the first quarter by 8 to the London Lions, who are looking to book themselves a place to the semi-finals. We will keep you on top of that and the other game that's going on tonight, Bristol against Cheshire. That's a game 2 as well, with Cheshire having won the first game back in Ellesmere Port. So Bristol looking to keep their season alive at home. McGill converts from the free throw line. Here's Whelan.
This is a mismatch that Caledonia have got to look to exploit. Whelan going left.
Defoe does enough to make it difficult for him, and Onwas commits the foul on the rebound, so that'll be a Newcastle ball.
And good attack there from Whelan, but if you're him, you know, if I see a big in front of me, I'm going to want to back up a few feet to give me a running start to go. I know that Darius Defoe isn't going to be able to move laterally to stay in front of Whelan, and I think he's really got to take, you know, a little bit of a harder stance there, fading away, asking for a call from the ref. I know he can get a better look than that, and I'm sure he's going to be kicking himself.
Here's McGill. Whitfield, chased by Poliza. Foul called on the cross screen. I think it's gone against Bothwell. It could be more.
Yeah, Bothwell got a call for the bump there. It's a tough one. You know, that cross screen's coming in, and Bothwell's trying to hold up the Darius Defoe post coming across, trying to slow it down to get his guy to recover, but the referee wasn't having any of it.
McGill. Taj Green driving, gets up in the air, somehow gets it to Austin. Needs to go up. Defoe gets it away in time, rattles out. Austin able to steal the ball away, and he's driving hard to the hole, and he's going to get 2 free throws, and that's classic Larry Austin on the offensive glass.
That is, he's in the right place at the right time. He's so tenacious in there. You know, he's very much bulldoggish. You know, he's not going to let anybody stop him. He sees that lane open up, takes the contact, and flips it up. Doesn't get to score the basket, but you know, that's two free throws for him.
And more importantly, that is the 3rd personal foul on Bothwell. 3 fouls inside 3 minutes, and of course they've already lost 1 guard to injury. Another one now, we might not see him till the second half.
Huge blow for Gareth there. You know, maybe it's just wrong place, wrong time, and then that's where that cross screen bump foul comes to hurt you. You know, I feel like in the playoffs we want to play a physical game, so a cross screen bump foul, I don't love it, but you know, if the referees are going to call the game this way, then the players have to adapt and be ready.
Well, it's Jimenez who's come into the game for the Gladiators. So you fancy the amount of minutes that Carl Jimenez is going to play has gone up significantly.
And Jimenez is a guy that can run your offense very efficiently. You know, he's not necessarily leaned on to create a lot of points per se, but you know, he knows how to run offense and find people in the spots where they can be effective to score.
Almost for 3. These are big minutes here. The next couple of minutes, Caledonia just need to right the ship a little bit.
It's time to see how resilient this Gladiators team can be. A couple men down. The start of the game hasn't gone their way with Darius Defoe hitting that mid-range too. How do these Caledonia Gladiators react when their back's against the wall?
Well, that is the challenge, and it seems more magnified at this time of year when you know that 37 minutes from now in playing time, the season could be over, so you need to respond now. There is no tomorrow.
And you're in a packed house at the Virtue Motors Arena with some really passionate fans, so how does that look when, you know, you could be going home tomorrow and there's no more competition for you for the next 3 months?
There's Austin putting pressure on the defense again, going to the rim, and it is one of those things that those of us from a bit further south in the country don't always understand, the rivalry between these two clubs. Newcastle, Scottish border skirmish. Newcastle have dominated the head-to-head over the years, and they've enjoyed dominating it, but Caledonia have had a few victories this season.
And with Caledonia being so prolific this year, you know, I'm sure the Eagles feel a little bit hard done by coming into this series being the 6th seed, and you know, probably people counting them out. And let's not get it twisted here. Mark Stewell's team has built for the playoffs. It's built for a championship here, so they've come out with the intention. They're dogged on defense, and they're putting pressure on Caledonia on the offensive end. Caledonia are already in the bonus, so they've really applied that pressure correctly in the right place for Mark Stewell's team.
Darius Defoe with his hand up to own up to a foul. Don't see that every week. It's the veteran admitting he got a little clip on Moore there. It's all going off on the Caledonia bench. I think there's been a warning in there for something that's being said.
Well, as a player, you know, if you're on the other team and the other team are in the bonus within 3.5 minutes here, you're going to feel a little bit hard done by, especially if there is, you know, contact on both sides. You're gonna want to feel like the game's being called fairly, and especially, you know, it's win or go home. So these guys are all in for this game, and they haven't started well. So how can they get back into the game? Firing up the bench, you know, it's not always a bad thing.
Well, just a little perspiration. Taj Green is going to take care of that. 10 points without reply for the Newcastle Eagles. Moore trying to bring an end to that here from the free throw line. London are up 11, by the way, at the end of the first quarter. Remember, if the Lions win, they win that series 2-0 and move on to the semi-finals. Newcastle trying to do exactly the same here. One for 6 so far from the floor, Caledonia. It's out through the hands of Green, and sloppy turnover.
Someone like Onwas is really going to have to spark this Caledonia Gladiators defense, you know, break up plays, break up, you know, what he can do. You know, he's got to take Taj Green out of this game and be a beast.
Wheeling, again, he's got that switch with Defoe. Paliza trying to use his size, moving McGill out of the way. Green pulls the rebound down.
Great stance there from the Eagles. You know, Paliza known as a three-point threat, and as soon as he puts that ball on the floor, you've got to be happy with your defensive job.
Here's Taj Green trying to bully his way to the basket. Offensive rebound from Defoe. Doesn't quite go. There's another offensive rebound for the Eagles. They've been crashing the glass early.
They're hungry. You can see they're after it. The bench is up. Everyone's clapping. You know, this is a sign of a team that's coming into form into the playoffs. They all look super locked in, and they're playing for each other.
Well, Clifton Moore Jr. sits down at Ali Hodgetts, who's been out for most of the second half of the season. Came back, played a few minutes in game 2. But obviously, you know, will be rusty out there. And early in the season, obviously, he was the starting center. A lot of the Caledonia offense went through his hands. They played a lot through the post. It'll be interesting to see if they can do that here in this playoff game, given how few minutes he's played.
Well, he's a player that can match the physicality of this game. You know, he's got experience and the talent to go with it. So for someone like Ali Hodgetts, he's going to really have to like put his stamp on this game to get them, you know, back in the running for this one.
Well, hook pass a little high, but Jimenez is able to catch it. Here is Ali Hodgetts down low, and he gets his first points on the ball.
Yeah, it's a good sight for Gareth there. You know, maybe go back to him, really see if he's going to fire up this Gladiators offense.
Here's Defoe. Already seen him knock one down from there. That one doesn't drop, but again, Green got a hand on that. Whelan eventually came away with it. And there's a whistle there. I'm not quite sure what was the issue. Is it a shot clock issue or something? The referee's going to go to the table, but that prevented Caledonia from getting a fast break opportunity, so that will not please Gareth Murray, given they were going to score. But it is a stoppage in play. It's 12 points to 7. The Newcastle Eagles lead here with 4:52 to go. Timeout is called. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Well, one of the tasks of coaching is dealing with everything that's thrown at you. And, well, it feels like it's all been thrown at Gareth Murray right now. His team without the league's leading scorer through injury, Quade Green. Their other point guard, Bothwell, on 3 fouls in 2.5 minutes. And even an open layup was waved off on a shot clock malfunction. But they've got to find some way. I almost feel like this is about mentality here. They just got to not let the game get away from them while they feel things are going against them. And at some point, it'll turn back round the other way.
Yeah, they've got to find some consistency on the offensive end. They've been with Quade Green, you know, sitting on the bench. They've gotten used to having him just easy pick and roll, late shot clock. You know, there's not a lot of consistency they've had at the start of this game. So being able to find specific players in their spots. If we're getting Patrick Whelan off the ball, if we're getting Ali Hodzic in the post, where can Gareth Murray lean on in these scenarios to get them back in the game?
Well, obviously Quade was a late addition to this team, so they played a lot of the season without him, but it's sort of muscle memory. It sort of changes pretty quickly, doesn't it? You get used to, here's a guy who's averaging 25 points a game, and things change in that process.
Yeah, and then that's with Gareth too. You know, their whole style of play was different. It changed. They had a pass-first point guard in first, and now you have a super dynamic scoring point guard who, don't get me wrong, can see the floor and make the right read. But that becomes a very different game plan when you're preparing on the offensive end.
Well, another turnover. We'll give the ball back to the Newcastle Eagles. Jordan Johnson in at the point guard spot for Newcastle now. As I say, he spent a season north of the border, and a very successful one as well. And he's looking to remind them of his talents here again today. Nice, a little coming together there. There's a lot going on. You've got to keep your eyes everywhere. Defoe's involved with Ali Hodzic, and Onwas with McGill. Let's have a look. Two experienced centers. Oh, a little shove there.
These two guys are serious competitors here. Nobody wants to lose. You know that Ali Hodzic is a physical playing guy, and Defoe isn't backing down to anybody. So expect this matchup to get fiery.
Yeah, those two guys know the dark arts of low post play, I think it's fair to say. And they will both try their best to use it to their advantage. Here's Jimenez. Back round to Onwas. Whelan backs away for three. And Taj Green just a little too aggressive on the closeout, commits the foul, and Whelan will go to the line for 3 free throws.
And you see there's 3 Newcastle Eagles surrounding Whelan. He can't turn the corner. And you don't have someone like Quade Green to pitch to shoot that step-in 3. You know, Jimenez is further to the halfway line expecting a step-up screen. So that defense from the Eagles is key, but then losing concentration and fouling the three-point shooter is something that's, you know, just is not acceptable.
Well, here is the battles. You see two very strong low post players fighting for every inch of real estate on the floor, and it'll be one to keep an eye on for sure. But you talked about it earlier, Whelan going to the free throw line to get his first 2 points, a chance to add 3 more. As a shooter, it doesn't matter where you're shooting from. If the ball's going through the net, that makes the next shot more likely to go in. Yeah,
he's keeping that rhythm ticking over by getting these freebies at the line. Someone that, you know, is a very much a rhythm player, you know, practiced against him many a time. And you just got to try and knock him off his rhythm, and him getting to the line is not a good way to do that.
Well, I talked about his three-point shooting being amongst the best in British Basketball League history. His free throws are pretty high up there as well. Here's McGill. He's going to let it fly from three-point range, and he's got 10 points here already, Ricky McGill.
Ricky McGill, one of the three-headed monster that the Eagles have, and any of these guys can go off at any different time. And McGill is one of the microwaves of the league this year.
Good hands from Neighbor to strip it away. Jimenez almost forced the turnover, but Johnson still has it. Johnson right down the middle, drops it off to Defoe, and foul is called. Darius Defoe will go to the line.
And Newcastle coming up with all of these scrappy little plays, you know, the offensive rebounds and all that.
Well, here's the latest from Bristol, where the scores are tied with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Remember, Bristol have to win that game to force a game 3 on Sunday at Ellesmere Port. After Cheshire won by 1 in the end, they were quite comfortably up, and Surrey making some inroads in the second quarter, although there's a turnover there, so that one's going to move back out to 7 with Matt Morgan laying it in. Remember, Surrey are the ones in the 1-0 hole. Darius Defoe going to sit down for Newcastle.
Continuing his trend of positive minutes here for the Eagles in the playoffs. Someone that they know they can rely on for not just scoring.
Well, it's noticeable that apart from McGill, he was the last of the starters to sit down. That's how important Darius is to this team.
Still, the Gladiators here looking for some sort of consistency on the offensive end. You know, they won't be happy with only scoring 10 points in 7 minutes of play here in this do-or-die game.
Off the back iron from Jimenez. Delpesh didn't quite want that in the open court. Wanted to be a little closer to the basket before it came his way. In the corner is Johnson, tough shot. And I think that's going to go against Delpesh. Yes, it is, as he just bumped into Malcolm on the rebound, and they're over the limit, so Malcolm will walk the floor and get a chance to go to the free throw line. I've been really impressed with Fraser Malcolm this year. Ricky McGill, by the way, 10 points. He's got the same number of points as Caledonia through the first 7 minutes of the game. But going back to Malcolm, what a great job he has done for them this year. Coming off the bench, always seems to make positive plays for his team.
Yeah, he's one of these guys that you could label as a role player, and essentially that is what he does. But he is a super role player, you know. On any given night, he can be asked to do different things. His long frame allows him to rebound really well, and he's so tenacious on that offensive end that he always evades the eye of the defense, you know, and you can't forget that he can shoot the ball from a long way away too, so you can't lose him, and he's a very valuable piece here for these other dynamic guards that they have.
Well, he converts from the free throw line, but they're still 8 points down here, Caledonia. They're still struggling to keep the scoreboard ticking. Just 11 points in 7 minutes. Foul called Johnson. That is another way he draws fouls. We think about him going to the rim, getting his body into people, but he loves to split through the defenders and force them into those sorts of fouls.
And someone like Johnson knows exactly what that foul count is at. He knows if his team are in the bonus, then he's going to be trying to draw the most contact possible, because at the end of the day, he's trying to get his points up, and he knows that they are absolutely free points. If he can create that illegal defensive contact, you know, he knows he's going to be going to the line.
Well, a big chunk of his 31 in game 1 were from this distance. 11 of 14 from the free throw line. His first point of this game too. Point lead, biggest of the contest so far. Here's Ali Hodgic now trying to go to work against Delpesh, and goes one way then the other for the hook.
And this is the sort of matchup that maybe Gareth was looking for. You know, Ali Hodgic, maybe about the same sort of size as Delpesh, but he knows he's got the better of him with his footwork. He's very smooth down there, and I think that if you're Gareth, you've got to try and go back to that matchup as much as you can for these next 2 minutes.
Well, I think somebody in the first couple of rows felt one there.
Drew Lasker
It's
should
Drew
have had
Lasker.
he should have
It's
had
Drew
his hands
Lasker and
ready.
his family. He's supposed to be ready.
Oh no, I think he's got his little boy in his hands. I think that's more valuable than any ball that's coming your way. I'm hoping he protected him. I'm sure he did.
Well, I'm just wondering whether it's Drew's wife that might have felt that. Drew's supposed to be protecting the whole family.
Or maybe they thought he was wearing his Eagles jersey again. I'm not sure.
Yeah, shoot it, Drew. Ali Hodgic again looking to bully his way to the basket and a chance for an and one.
Again with the footwork, you know, he got it right to the middle of the lane and matched him for physicality. But look, he uses his reverse pivot and his experience to get the and one, right, left hand right off the glass.
Well, they've definitely looked to go at Delpesh on these last couple of plays through Ali Hodgic. And it'll be interesting to see whether Coach Stuttel stays with that for very long, because Faro definitely looks to have the upper hand in that matchup.
I can see that fire in his eyes. You know, the compared to Rumi right now is screaming at him, because I want to be playing in this game if I'm brutally honest, but this guy is going nuts right now. You can see the fire just building in his eyes. He's asking Gareth to give me the ball back in the same spot. He wants the same matchup.
Well, you don't want him on your you don't want to be on his back trying to keep him away from that low block though, Evan.
No way. He's way too strong for me.
Off the front of the rim from Ricky McGill.
I'll be trying to pull the chair on him, to be honest. That would be my play.
See if you can send him to the floor. Here's Jimenez driving in, finding Kyle Johnson underneath. And a good response here from the Caledonia Gladiators. They've cut what was a 10-point lead down to only 3. And they've got them their equilibrium. Well, the Newcastle Eagles are trying to once again get back to the playoff final.
Newcastle Eagles women went 3-0 in the month of April.
Playoffs is one of the most funnest times of the season. Last year I went home first round, so this year I'm not going home first round.
The playoffs, I think you've got to expect the unexpected. The league this year has been amazingly competitive. Pretty much everyone has got everyone on any given day.
When we play the best version of us, I feel like we're the most dangerous team in this league. Like, nobody can't stop us.
Delpesh just elevated over the entire city of Newcastle.
And once you get to the playoffs, it's win the night. Like, you really can't take no losses.
I think the work that you put in the dark days should shine through in the light days, and it should shine through when you're underneath the bright game lights.
At the end of the day, everybody wants to win, and this team specifically is the most winning team in this league. So why not add more history, more wins, and more trophies to this club?
For this organization, for this team, for this city, for me as a coach, it would mean everything. I think there's going to be some twists and turns. I think there's going to be people trying to write their own story, and we want to be that group.
Lasker was part of that group in 2021. He won 2 playoff titles with the Newcastle Eagles, and he'll be rooting for them all the way through this postseason. You saw him there. He was just presenting the Women's British Basketball League Coach of the Month, to the Newcastle coach, Matt Newby, during that timeout break. Here's Johnson. That's a tough 3. Misses everything, but Larry Austin's there to turn it into an assist.
And Austin, right place, right time again, you know. He's not always good, he's not always on the ball, but he's excellent at finding himself in the right position off the ball.
Here is Ali Hodgic, looking to spin baseline. Double team comes, forces the ball out of his hands, and Austin says, thank you very much. Ward Hibbert in the corner, knocks down the 3.
Excellent execution on the defensive end coming out of that timeout from the Eagles. You know, they knew they were going to go back to Ali Hodgic. That double team was ready, and they executed in the transition.
And it's allowed them to score 5 quick points out of that timeout. Neighbor was beaten on the baseline, had to take a foul. And that's what the response you want, isn't it? As a coach, you change something up defensively, you turn it into points. Your 3-point lead is back out to 8.
Yeah, and the Eagles are so good at that. They're so quick to turn the defensive possession into a transition opportunity. And when Austin's got the ball in his hands, it's not always he's going to score it, but he's going to attract all that defensive attention. And next thing you know, you've got Josh Ward-Hibbert in the corner shooting an open three.
Well, Newcastle lead the British Basketball League in fast break points. They're number 2 in the league in points from turnovers. Number 1 in the league points in the paint. When they get the ball and can run, they more often than not punish teams. Well, the shot clock is off. So Newcastle looking to run it down to the buzzer. Try and get a double-figure lead once again. Johnson with the step away 3. Misses everything. Delpesh beats the buzzer, but it doesn't quite roll in. And that will do it for the first quarter here in Newcastle. The Eagles lead this one by 8. We will have the second quarter right after this break. Welcome back to Newcastle. Well, as a coach, you want to have an impact from your timeouts. Coach Doodle certainly did. That one late in the first quarter when Caledonia had the momentum. They shifted it around. And Newcastle back on top by 8. Whelan drops it back. Johnson in the right place for 2.
And Johnson's had 2 layups right at the rim, courtesy of 2 great moves from his other guard teammates.
McGill into the key, lobs it up, rattles out. Again, they're on the offensive glass, but no finish. Whelan's going to pull up for 3. Johnson with the rebound. Here's Newcastle looking to run. Johnson's going to pull up for 3. Don't think he ever quite got his feet right for that one.
Frantic start to this second quarter, you know, a lot of quick shots. And another one here from the Gladiators that doesn't even touch the rim. And this is where the Eagles can really punish you if you take bad shots and you find yourself in a transition opportunity. And there we go.
Easy one for Ward-Hibbert off the dish from Jordan Johnson.
And that's what Stutel's got to be preaching to his guys. He's got to know that he can get a good look down the floor every time. It doesn't have to be a step away 3 or a contested mid-range shot. He knows how direct his team can be.
Well, speaking of direct, Whelan going right to the rim. Here come Newcastle the other way. Even on a made score, they love to run. Johnson, hard to the hole. Foul is called. Well, let's get an update from Surrey, where it is 51-52. They're still in the second quarter. Make that 54-52. Surrey have scored 39 points, and there's still 1:20 to go in that quarter. Cam Gooden going nuts from behind the arc. So too Quinn Cooper. Well, we all know if Surrey can make enough threes, they're in double figures for threes made in the first half. But that would be some upset if number 8 could force a game 3. Ali Hodges forced back out. You can see a little difference there with Defoe on his back. And there's Austin with the steal. Numbers here. Johnson will take it. He throws it up high and draws the foul again. He knew Onwas was coming, and he avoided the block.
Yeah, he threw it up there high. He knew he wasn't going to get blocked, that's for sure. But the foul was on that contact moving away from the basket, I think.
So they're 4 minutes into the second quarter down at Bristol, where Cheshire have a 7-point advantage. Cheshire trying to close it out on the road. They don't want to go back home this weekend. They want to save themselves for next weekend and a semi-final date. Of course, in the British Basketball League, it's highest seed to qualify against lowest seed to qualify, so we won't know the makeup of the semi-finals until everybody has qualified. As Johnson pushes Newcastle's lead a little further out, 11 of 12 from the free throw line. Caledonia have missed 6, down 8. Here's Whelan to the rim, and he wants a foul. Oh, Defoe's come up hopping there like he's just tweaked something. He's sat down on the steps of the seats, and he's just going to tie those shoes up.
Darius Defoe is not missing a second more of this playoff game unless he's being stretchered off, that's for sure.
Oh, he just rolled it there. You can see he stood on Fraser Malcolm's foot.
Something you hate to see, something so miscellaneous as stepping on someone's foot when the play's even over.
Well, I'm assuming at Darius's age that the ankles are well taped up. The miles on his clock, I would imagine there's a lot of strapping to keep it all together.
Yeah. He knows what hurts and what doesn't too. Like, he knows if he can keep going or if it's just like a little tweak that he can keep that adrenaline pumping through so he can keep going.
Whelan off the mark. Rebound pulled in by Austin. McGill for 3, stares it down, but he overcooked it.
Well, he was feeling good after that little mid-range pull-up he just made. You know, he's had a good start to this game, but safe to say that could be a bad heat check shot.
Whelan getting in close. Malcolm trying to tip it home. Newcastle have the rebound, and Whelan commits the foul.
Yeah, it's not... Look, getting Newcastle Eagles out in transition is something that, you know, Caledonia want to stop, but it's not an ideal foul to take 70 feet from the basket.
Well, Malcolm will get himself a breather. It's only the first foul on Whelan. Oh, Defoe is wide open underneath, and a great pass to find him.
You know, the technique of whipping that pass around the defender's head is you know, not a lot of people can do that. It's a great pass there from Austin to find Defoe right under the basket.
Eagles back to 10 points, equals their biggest lead. Whitfield a little too closely guarding. Here is that pass.
That hesitation, that ball's not in 2 hands. He knows he's not going to be able to get it to Defoe on time if he brings both of his hands to the ball, so he just whips it right past the defender's head.
Whitfield sits down. Green checks in. Oh, went down a bit easy there. McGill blocked from behind by Green, but the foul is called.
Excellent second effort there for Green to come over and contest that about to be wide open dunk comes across. Unfortunate to get the foul there, but, you know, make him earn it at the line. This is playoff basketball. Nothing comes easy.
Well, McGill got a flop warning for his part in that play.
Well, he was banking on Whelan going right. When Pat Whelan puts the ball down on the floor, he loves to go right. So I think Ricky McGill knows that, and he tried to cut him off to the spot, but Pat was one step ahead of him this time and managed to stop himself from, you know, initiating that contact that would cause the charge, and managed to get in the lane to his guy.
Well, Whitfield on the bench on 3 fouls. His contribution today has been limited by that. He's only played 6 minutes so far. But of course, Bothwell at the other end played 2.5 minutes before he sat down. And I suspect Gareth was hoping to get the thick end of 30 out of him today, but he'll do well to get to 20.
I'm just going to put one disclaimer out there. You know, this is playoff basketball. We want to see the best players in the league playing in this game. So let's let them play a little bit. You know, this is a playoff game. We want to see the best players in the game. So let's cool off on the fouls a bit, and let's really let these guys see what they got.
Of course, Evan could say that because he hasn't got a game next week and thinking one of these referees are going to turn up.
Oh, no.
Remember that comment. But it is one of those things. It's that balance this year in a game like this between the physicality that the players are going to bring because it's playoff time and they're playing for their season versus trying to keep it the right side of the line if you're an official.
Right, exactly, and both of these coaches are preaching physicality on the defensive and the offensive end. So it becomes really difficult for these referees to call the game in a fair manner. You know, I really don't envy these guys. You know, these guys got a very difficult job. There's a lot, us as players on the court are extremely, can be extremely deceptive, and that becomes very hard to referee sometimes. So to put it out there, I don't envy them. Their job is very difficult.
Here's Carl Johnson leaving it short. You'll get a call back now after that. Oh, Taj Green with the flush tap of the head.
And that energy that he's injected into this Virtu Motors Arena will fuel this Newcastle Eagles team.
And the Eagles have their biggest lead of the game. Whelan with Defoe in front of him, looking to attack. Defoe slaps it off his leg. That's going to go back to the Newcastle Eagles. The super vet winning the battle there.
Huge momentum play here for the Eagles. Defoe knows he's going to bring the ball down, slaps it. Unfortunately for Whelan, comes right off his knee, and that's injected more life into this Eagles team.
Well, he took a couple of them with him there, Taj Green, and he let them know about it.
One thing's for sure, Taj Green is going to let you know about it.
Austin through the contact and one. The flex of the muscles. Newcastle on top here, midway through the second quarter.
Look at this tough move, in and out, left-handed dribble, finishes with the right, through the contact. And Taj Green is their #1 hype man.
Well, these are scary moments for the Caledonia Gladiators. Potentially down 15 here if this one goes in. Without their leading scorer, with their point guard on the bench in foul trouble. They are swaying on the ropes right now. They have to find a way of staying in this game. Quade Green can't help them out today, but can they get another game and see if he can come back for Sunday? Foul is called. Well, there is nothing worse as a basketball player than not being available, but Caledonia have work to do. It's a 15-point game. Timeout call. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Newcastle, where the home fans are enjoying this. Their team on top here. And Caledonia, well, it's the 26, Evan, that's the problem. 15 minutes, they've only scored 26 points.
Yeah, and you can see that Quade Green being on the bench with no playing uniform has really stunned the Gladiators in terms of their offensive efficiency.
What a play by Ward Hibbert to deny more, but he stayed with it.
Can this spark the Gladiators? This timeout has stopped the momentum for Newcastle, and can Gladiators capitalize here?
Kick to the corner, and absolutely string music for Ricky McGill.
Not someone that you can leave open. He's up to 15 points here in the first quarter. Someone that's red hot right now.
Police are looking to get those 3 points back. That doesn't go. Green just about hangs on to it.
I think that's the first shot that Police has got out from the three-point line. That's a difficult place to be if you're a three-point shooter that's only managed to have one attempt in about 14 minutes of play.
Well, he's only had 2 field goal attempts in the whole game. He's missed them both.
And here Ricky McGill just trying to put the moves on. Patrick sticks out that leg, gets called for a foul, and they're being so direct. And here at Caledonia find themselves back
His
in
third personal
bonus.
foul, sorry. So Bothwell and Whelan on 3. It is all going wrong for the Caledonia Gladiators here. Just an update from London, Surrey. Surrey are down by 2 at halftime, 54-56. Surrey had 39 points in the second quarter. What's the latest down in Bristol? 2 minutes to go to halftime, and it's Cheshire who lead by 7 in that one. So the teams with a 1-0 lead are all on top right now. So potentially we could know 3 of our 4 semi-finalists by the time the night is done. Good hands, Austin with the steal. Austin all the way to the basket. Green with the offensive rebound. McGill off the mark, wobbles about, and Ali Hodzic gets it, but his pass is deflected.
This Newcastle Eagles team are everywhere. It's not just Larry Austin, but he is setting the tone.
Well, here comes Ward Hibbert. He's running it hard, and he is denied by Onwas.
Huge rejection there from Onwas. Came out of absolutely nowhere to take that easy layup away.
Aliza can't convert.
And here it is, it's make or break time here for the Gladiators. Their back is against the wall. Nothing has gone their way this game. Can they find themselves in a situation where they can get into the second half and be still in this game?
Yeah, these last 240, huge for Caledonia. Newcastle sensing they can land a knockout blow here. Here's Green underneath, and he is fouled. He'll go to the line.
And that's not just talent right there, that's smarts. Taj Green knew he wasn't going to be able to grab the rebound with 2 hands. He tips it up 2-3 times, grabs it, manages to get fouled, and now he's going to the line for 2.
Well, first of all, a timeout has been called. This is that previous block. Tremendous timing from Onwas, and he kept it in play. They need something here. Gareth Murray and his team, 2.5 minutes to go. They've got to find some way back in.
And this is one of the lineups that Gareth probably hasn't seen too much of this year. You know, Ali Hodzic with injury and Kyle Jimenez with a limited role at the 1 position for this season. So how can Gareth Murray spark this offense into finding some rhythm here for these guys?
Yeah, because the problem is offensive. 45 points is maybe a few too many that you'd want to give up in the first half, but 28 is so low. It's hard to win a game when you're on pace for low 60s.
Yeah, and that's something that I've been coached on when I've been playing. You know, how can you win a game? Keep a team under 70. Keep a team under 70, and there's a good chance that you're going to win a game. So for the Gladiators, they've got to find a spark to, you know, just put some more points on the board.
Well, it's a season that promised much for Caledonia, and they're in danger of it ending here in great disappointment at the quarterfinal stage of the playoffs, having managed to get third in the table, their highest finish for a long time. But it matters for nothing really if you can't advance in the playoffs, and they've caught a 6th place team who at times have looked like world beaters. Certainly in the summer, they won the off-season, Newcastle, didn't they? Everybody was talking about this collection of talent because we knew all of the guys. We saw Taj Green at Manchester last year. We saw Ricky McGill when he was in Plymouth, Jordan Johnson when he was in Glasgow, Larry Austin when he was in Cheshire. We knew all of these guys, and we thought, look at the talent that Newcastle have assembled, and it's been a little up and down, bit of a roller coaster, but they're definitely on and up here.
Yeah, this team was built for the playoffs. You know, they've got some all-star type players with the dogged mentality, and Mark Stewell has clearly got his guys playing their best basketball at the right time.
Well, that battle between Ali Hodgic and Defoe that's been going on all game was at its peak right there. Ali Hodgic ended on the floor, and Defoe is called for the foul.
And he doesn't like it, but hey, I'm really enjoying watching this matchup here as Defoe heads to the bench. But you know, he's given his body and everything to this game, making sure that Ali Hodgic is not having that impact he had earlier on in the first quarter.
Well, he's so important to what they do defensively that they're going to protect him. That's his 2nd foul, but they want him to have 3 to play with in the second half for sure.
He's too valuable to this Eagles defense, you know. He's a real anchor for them down there. And give him a call off right here, an extra 2 minutes, you know. He's a seasoned guy, you know. He maybe needs a little bit more time to rest, you know. So I think Stewell's got it correct here, giving him an extra 2 minutes of breather.
Well, that's the other thing. People don't really see it, and it's so loud in arena, you can't necessarily hear it. But the amount of communication that Darius gives to the rest of the players on his team, it can't be underestimated how important that is to them defensively.
He's a constant voice at the back of that defense, you know, always letting you know where his guy is and also where their defender will be at. You know, he's someone that you can rely on to, anchor down that defense.
Taj Green with a nice little hook from the low block, pushes it back to 18. Jimenez up in the air, back to Poliza. Off the rim, but it's tipped down straight to Omwas, who says thanks a lot for 2.
Good hustle there to keep that ball alive. That's what the Gladiators got to do. They've got to get scrappy here, find some easy buckets along the way.
Oh, look at that from Austin to keep it alive. He ends up tipping it out of bounds. Probably wasn't the best shot there from Ricky McGill, who's arguing for a whistle, but they're not in a hurry. They don't need to shoot that early.
He's first to the ball every single time. He's going up for 2 offensive rebounds, and he still tries to go for the steal. That's a guy that wants to be playing at the 0-2.
Jimenez being harassed by Johnson. A lot of dribble here. It's on to Ali Hodgic. Not much time to work with. Poliza's going to fire up another one. That doesn't go. And there's a foul on the rebound. Poliza now 0 for 5 from the floor.
Yeah, he's been really cold this game so far. A couple of his looks haven't been that clean. And it also feels like, you know, he's rushed his looks. You know, he hasn't necessarily got the open ones where the pick and roll has developed his chance to get an open look here. So some of the looks he's got is maybe a bit rushed. And then here you're chasing it, you know. If you don't get a couple easy buckets early, it can be difficult.
I think in part that is to the point you made earlier that, what was it, 15 minutes in, he'd only taken 1 shot in the game, and suddenly it's like, well, I need to get my shots up, my team needs me to score, and then maybe takes it a little quicker than he would have in the past, and it sort of compounds itself.
You want to make your mark on the game, and especially where you can sort of see and feel that your team is struggling. You want to see if you can, you know, help. But sometimes if it's too aggressive with the help, you can add to the problem.
Into the final minute of a first half that Newcastle have dominated here at the Virtue Motors Arena. Ali Hodgic with the mid-range, overcooked. Rebound Green. Austin pushing. Austin all the way, blocked! And the rebound for Ali Hodgic.
Great effort there from Ali Hodgic to stop Austin finishing at point-blank range.
Oh, Paliza drops it, but Malcolm is able to clean it up. And Newcastle inbound the ball slow enough that the shot clock is, well, it's about to take turned off and they can tick it down, but Jimenez has committed a foul and there's going to be 2 free throws.
Silly foul to give away there if you're Jimenez.
Well, they're underway in the second half in Guildford. London leading Surrey by 2. Remember, Surrey need to win to force a game 3. At the minute, none of the games being played are being won by the team that needs to win. So we could be down to potentially only 1 shot at a game 3. Remember, Leicester host Sheffield tomorrow. Leicester won on the road in game 1, so they're looking to try and close out as well. But that Sheffield Sharks team will have other ideas about taking it to game 3 on Sunday. Malcolm, who's picked it up in an awkward spot, gets it back to Jimenez. Ali Hodgic down on the low block, has Ward Hibbert on his back. Double team comes. Jimenez into the key, throws it in for 2, and that will be the final act of the first half that has been very, very good for those in black and white here in Newcastle. The Eagles are 20 minutes away from a semi-final here in the playoffs. They lead this one by 15. Can Mark Stukel and his team see this one over the line? We will break down that first half right after this break. Welcome back to the British Basketball League playoffs, where the Newcastle Eagles are on the brink of the upset in the seeding. The number 6 seed trying to make it 2-0 tonight. They lead by 15, looking well on course for that. And Evan, if we have a look at the numbers, I think I know where you're going to go. There's one that really leaps off the page.
Yeah, the Gladiators are struggling from the three-point line, 0 for 8 in that sector. And you know, the Newcastle Eagles aren't shooting a great percentage themselves, but it's that free throw percentage that are keeping them in the game, 19 for 23.
The other thing is 5 steals for the Newcastle Eagles. That gets them off and running, as they love to do, and they're winning the rebounding battle as well. That helps them run as well. Let's have a look back at the action from the first half here in Newcastle, and the Eagles looked just as they did in game 1, right in rhythm, right from the open tip.
Yeah, they took control of this game with their physicality and their direct nature, and Stu touched on it in the game before. If they can implement their style of play more, then they will be the victors coming out of here. And you know, Ricky McGill, he got hot early, scoring from all 3 levels, and then he becomes a real problem because you just don't even know where he's going to shoot from.
And the problem for Caledonia, obviously, without Quad A Green, big chunk of the offense, then Bothwell gets in foul trouble in the first couple of minutes, so that changes their lineup. They looked okay when Ali Hodgic was able to go to work inside, but offense has been a challenge for Caledonia.
Yeah, we spoke about their consistency and where do they look to when they have these broken plays. And, you know, they're not used to, the lineups are out there tonight, they haven't been used to all season. They've been very sporadic with who they've been able to put on the floor. And Whelan's put his best foot forward, but someone else needs to join him for these guys to get back in the game.
But Newcastle, conversely, outrunning, looking comfortable, getting to the basket, going after the loose ball as well. Even when they don't get the offensive rebounds, they were making it difficult.
Larry Austin led the charge with his tenacious play on both ends of the floor, and the Newcastle Eagles followed suit. Taj Green came with the big plays, with the finesse, and with the big time dunk that got me off my feet. So.
Well, the Newcastle Eagles looking well in control here. We're going to, in a minute, have a look back at Game 1 between Sheffield and Leicester. But first, let's remind ourselves of when these two teams met last week.
O'Donnell goes in, throws it down, and welcome to the PlaySport Arena.
Darius DeFore running the floor. Great block.
Getting rejected. Well, the Chief, he pinned him off the backboard like a magnet on the refrigerator. Johnson left wide open, hesitates, fires a 3 and tucks that one away, giving the Newcastle Eagles a 5-point lead. Defoe kicks this one out. Well, Ward Hibbert may have intercepted a pass unintended for him. But again, Caledonia fumbled the rebounds. Johnson's made 1 3, and he makes another one, piling on the punishments. Good collapse defense coming from the Gladiators. Now, can they chip in? Trailing by 4 points. And again, you can see suffocated defense, JT.
Great job getting back in transition, taking those away, and then turning defense to offense.
Caledonia, again, trying to chip in. This almost goes in. Gets the and 1. Johnson down the middle, hangs up in the air. And again, somebody explain to me the physics of how he was able to make that shot. Wheel in the corner, 3 is up, and it's good. Now it's a 2-point ball game.
That's a great play. Oh, you can't let that happen.
That is
if you're Taj
dagger.
Green.
Time's winding down for the Eagles. McGill pulls up from 10 feet again, dissecting the Gladiators defense to pieces.
That is a
my goodness! JT, are you kidding me?
Ooh, Taj Green climbing the ladder. That's a high-level pass from Jordan Johnson. Behind the back spin into the left-hand hook pass.
Ooh. Well, Whelan going all the way, wraps around again. Are you kidding me? BEA, beautiful play. Larry Austin comes up with it. Final seconds in. Johnson now had his face, but again, this guy delivering big-time 3-pointer. Well, good anticipation. Johnson comes up with a steal. Ward Hibbert goes in. Ooh. Well, we are seeing some George Irvin Gervin-esque moments at the moment here in the 4th quarter.
And another turnover from Caledonia turns into 2 Newcastle points.
Newcastle Eagles, they will take game 1 here in the British Basketball League playoffs. What a victory for Mark Studel's players.
Allen for 3.
Well, Bucket's going for the unorthodox. I don't know how you explain this guy. Sharks trying to battle back. Pipkins in and around again. Are you kidding me? Holmes going all the way, gets the and one. He's going to the free throw line. Sheffield, they look a little bit scared at the moment. Getting ready for the ISO mode. No ball screen coming. Nixon step back 15. This guy has come ready to play, and we've got a ball game. Doa goes in, gets rejected. While Kipper Nichols said not in the tank, and again, look at the finish. This guy is simply incredible, Ant.
Look at that. Bounce pass inside from Ramsey and just opens up for Green for the easy dunk.
What is going on now with the Leicester Riders?
Well, they give up the most points in the paint. Malik Green again with his second block of the today.
Leicester trailing by 7. Buckets in around the defense. Bumps goes in, and now would be the time for Teddy Buckets to get into that motion. At the moment, they turn it over again. 4-point game, alley. Oh, baby! Bit of showtime. Rough Rider basketball. Finishing with an alley-oop. Ramsey got it by Lowell. Putting on the isos, twisting, turning, spinning in around the defense. And again, what a move by Nouveau Ramsey. He dove in the post. Cross-court finds Lowell. There's a 3, it's up. Oh my goodness! Myra Thomas. Looking for a handout, fakes it, twisting, turning, spinning, looking like a baby Kevin Garnett on the floor at the moment. I love the fake spin. Well, here's the man they won the ball in the hands of. Nixon, 18, hand his face. This guy simply is cooking an entree. Kicks out, Green, 3, can't get it. Leicester Riders, they will escape with the victory, but, well, the foul's been called. There you go. Goes for the NFL play, and that almost hits the cheerleaders. Well, Leicester Riders, congratulations. Big time victory coming from behind.
To lead the series.
Welcome back to our coverage of the British Basketball League playoffs, where the 6th seed Newcastle Eagles lead the 3 seed by 15 and a chance to sweep them out of the playoffs here today. Let's get an update from the other games going on. Down in Guildford, they're closing in on the end of the third quarter. London ahead, but still only by 8. Could Surrey pull off the big upset? Meanwhile, Cheshire are early in the second half there, up by 8 against Bristol. Remember, Cheshire won game 1. So this is how things look right now. And at the minute, all 3 of the games being played tonight are being won by the team with the 1-0 lead. So no game 3s from those. There could still be a game 3 between Leicester and Sheffield. The Riders will try and prevent that. 6:45 tip-off tomorrow at the Mattioli Arena. The Sharks trying to level the series in that one. Well, what a first half Ricky McGill has had. He obviously was in the British Basketball League a few years ago with Plymouth. They thought they were going to go all the way. He wants to go all the way today. 16 first half points.
Yeah, you can see that super efficient 50% from the three-point line. That really opens up his offensive game. Once he starts dialing in from behind the line, you know, it becomes really difficult to guard someone that's so shifty with his moves.
And when that one goes in, first shot of the game for 3, you kind of knew Caledonia are in trouble, because he is a scorer. When that ball goes through the net, it seems the rim seems to get bigger and bigger for him.
He's a big-time player, you know, and he thrives in these, you know, do-or-die sort of games. And he came out firing, and here he is leading his team in going into the second half.
Well, it feels to me, Evan, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, but these first few minutes in this second half, Newcastle, if they can come out swinging, maybe they can land a knockout blow. Caledonia have to find a way of winning these first 3 or 4 minutes, pulling themselves back in the game and get themselves to a place where they can make a charge down the stretch.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head there. You know, Gareth Murray's probably been preaching about, we just got to find a way to get ourselves within striking distance, and maybe Newcastle will let them back in this game.
Well, how does Bothwell play, having only managed 2.5 minutes before picking up those 3 fouls? Does he have the rhythm? Well, that is not the start they wanted. Palisa might have scraped the front of the rim. It could have been an air ball.
In a different sort of game, that's string music for Palisa, but he struggled early on, and then the easy, or we say open, looks become more difficult.
0 for 5 from behind the arc for Palisa. He's such a deadly 3-point shooter normally. That is a travel. It was a late whistle, and it was the referee on the baseline who called it, but Defoe got his feet in a bit of a mess there.
Yeah, correct call, I think. He wanted to put the ball on the floor, but Clifton Moore's arm just got in the way of him putting it down, so he picked that back foot up, and the referee got the call in the end.
Well, Caledonia did their best to give it right back there with a sloppy inbound pass, but Bothwell brings it across midcourt. Whelan, of course, on 3 fouls as well. Here's Moore, and he's blocked by McGill, but there's a whistle on the play. I think it's going to go against Defoe. It is the number 13 that's shown to the table, and he can't believe it.
He doesn't like it. I would love to see a replay on this, because it looked like he was established. Here we go. I think he's established there, but maybe the referee saw that, you know, Defoe he got hit on the side, which then becomes very difficult, because then is he straight up, or is he in a position where he's in a legal defensive position moving sideways? From the referee's point on the baseline, it was probably tough for him to know if he was moving sideways or not.
Well, either way, it's the 3rd foul on Defoe. We talked about his importance, just to give you insight on that. The best plus-minus on the Newcastle Eagles team in this game, Darius Defoe. When he's on the court, they are leading by 20.
And that's one of those stats there that people don't necessarily see all the time, but that just amplifies exactly what we've been talking about, how he leads this team on the defensive end with his voice more than anything.
Well, Green is in an awkward spot, and he ends up getting called for a 5-second violation. When you pick the ball up like that, you've got to pass it away within 5 seconds, and he couldn't find a teammate. It's not a call you see every game, but good pressure on the defense.
And here we go, it's 14 points. It could be a lot worse off if you're the Gladiators. Can you get to within striking distance here, and Whelan says we can.
Well, if there's one guy to pick him up and put him on his back, it's Patrick Whelan. Whitfield steps back for three. What a shot that is!
Devin Whitfield. He too had some foul trouble. Maybe didn't see as many minutes in the game, but someone that's always ready, especially when it's behind that arc.
Caledonia have to start making some threes to find a way back in this game. Moore has the mismatch, can't take advantage. Second attempt, he tips it in.
Good patience there from Moore with the smaller Larry Ossum on him. Doesn't have to use his size to bully him out the way, but just wait for Ossum to give him the lane.
McGill off the rim for three.
That's one of those shots that the Eagles could maybe give up, you know, in this situation where you're up a good amount of points. Don't want to give the Gladiators a chance to, you know, give them an open run at this next offensive section.
Well, Moore was looking for something to happen, and in the end he took a shot that we don't see too much from him. Green has the size here, backing down Whelan and taking full advantage of that.
We've seen that in this series the whole time. Taj Green taking advantage when Caledonia Gladiators have settled with putting on a smaller guard or a big guard, but that's not big enough to guard Taj Green here in that matchup.
Well, they're in a bit of a muddle here, Caledonia. Onwas trying to create something himself, and Green taking the charge, and the bench loving that, and Newcastle get the ball back.
Taj Green, put him down for most energy plays of the year.
Well, what's happened here is a technical on Gareth Murray. I think it is. No, it's a technical on Green, I think, and it's a double technical. Taj Green was definitely involved in it. I didn't see which of the Caledonia players it was that was. There must have been some chatter from somewhere. We'll get that confirmed for you. Presumably it would have been Onwas given the previous play. Here's Whitfield for three, and he strings it. And Newcastle continue to pile on the pain for Caledonia.
You can count on Devin Whitfield from making threes, especially after he's hit the couple off the dribble, which is uncharacteristic for him.
Inside to Moore, he misses from close range. Green with the rebound. Well, just to confirm, the technical on Caledonia was on the bench. I think it might have been some chatter from Ali Hodgic, but obviously it goes on the bench. Whitfield looking for back-to-back threes. Green was involved in it, that's why he got a personal technical. Moore left on his own, so too Onwas, and Newcastle with a breakdown defensively there.
Easy two there for Onwas, and this is a point in the game where Caledonia got to take a stand on defense. They can't trade buckets with the likes of the Eagles to have a chance at being in the fourth quarter and trying to take this one.
McGill. Oh, Green was thinking about the play. He wanted the lob rather than it to his chest.
Yeah, he was ready to throw that one down. Unfortunately, it just got fired to him in a position where his hands weren't ready.
Whelan round the screen, firing up the three. Long rebound comes out to McGill, who gets clobbered by Onwas. Foul called. I think that's his fourth, by the way.
Another tough blow for the Gladiators if Onwas has got to sit with four, but he's been given the energy on the defensive end. You know, he's tried to turn the tide for this Gladiators team.
Well, they've had foul trouble all game. And we talk about the importance of Defoe to the Newcastle defense. He's a big part of the Caledonia defense, sitting down now.
Yeah, one that maybe isn't as vocal as Defoe, but he leads by example more than anything. You know, he's super tenacious, strong enough to guard a 5, quick enough to guard a 1 or a 2. Big blow for them, for him to be sitting down in this crunch game.
McGill for 3. Oh, Defoe dropped it. Has a look at the fingers.
A little smile on the way back there. He knew he had it in his hands and he just fumbled it.
Whelan. Back to Ali Hodzic. In the corner is Malcolm. Going to fire up the 3. Needed that.
Fraser the Laser. Sticking to his name. Sticking to his name. 3-point threat at all times.
Cuts it to 13. It's their first made 3 of the game. They'd been 0 for 11 before that one.
And yet, with 4 minutes to go in this third quarter, they find themselves down 13, 16
there we
points.
go. Coach Green says, anything you can do, I can do right back at you. Bothwell, back to Ali Hodzic, left it short on the toss. It came off Austin to go out of bounds, but the Newcastle Eagles still lead this one by 16. Timeout call. We'll take a break as well. We'll be right back. Well, whenever you come to Newcastle, there's always a schools competition going on, and the winners there claimed their medals at halftime. They've been enjoying themselves during that break as well, dancing about. The Newcastle fans will certainly be happy with the situation of the game. Is there a way back for Caledonia? They find themselves in a 16-point hole and only 14 minutes to get out of it. McGill with the steal and tipped in by Green, and that drives the coach nuts out of a timeout to turn the ball over on an inbound. Yeah, Gareth can't be happy with that execution there from the Gladiators. They had Clifton Moore underneath the basket though, just missed it right before and then turned into a poor turnover. Well, Newcastle have been stealing the ball all game. There's number 7. Gladiators are out of sorts here on the offensive end. They don't know where they're going, and here's McGill being super direct, getting straight to the basket, going to the line for 2. Well, he's frustrated that he's going for 2 and not 1 there. He thought that one might roll in. But Gareth Murray, what can they do to turn the tide? You know, this is super difficult here for the Gladiators. A very, very talented team that's had a successful season so far, and they find themselves in a 20-point hole with key players out, multiple players in foul trouble, and it all seems like it's all becoming too much for this team to come across right now. And that is, it's the mental challenge here from them to still believe that it's doable in this last 13 and a half minutes. when you know that the season ends in defeat. Oh, there's a little collision there. The foul was originally called against Jordan Johnson. Well, let's see what's going on in the other game. Looks like Teo might have hurt himself, but there's 5 minutes to go in that one. And London lead by 11, so that would be 2-0. That doesn't look great, does it, for Teo Kandengbi on the floor. In Bristol, Cheshire also lead by 11. So we could actually know our semi-final matchups by the end of tonight. As it stands, London will take on Newcastle, and Cheshire would take on the winner of the Leicester versus Sheffield series. Jimenez with the conversion from the free throw line, but they need a lot more than 1 point. McGill still looking to attack. I guess that's the key for Newcastle, isn't it? You've now got to think, don't change from what you're doing. Don't try and protect the lead. Keep building the lead.
Yeah, and don't take some erratic shots. You know, these guys can pretty much get any shot they want with the lineup that the Gladiators have out there. There'll be mismatch problems all over the court. So just making sure that you're taking smart shots in their offense, and they'll be plain sailing.
Well, Whelan just stumbling over the feet of Johnson. And he will go to the line for 2.
You can count on Patrick Whelan playing to the final buzzer, regardless of the state of the affairs of the game. This guy is a true competitor and will always put his best foot forward.
Well, he's the one guy that's been pretty consistent from the free throw line for Caledonia. They've missed 8. He hasn't missed any. Defoe might have been in too early there. So even though I didn't, because Defoe gets him a do-over instead.
Yeah, look, it's okay. Pat, we'll give you another try, mate. It's all right. There you go.
There is Defoe stepping into the lane before the ball was released. So Whelan gets a second attempt at it, and he keeps his perfect streak alive from the free throw line. Ward Hibbert blocked. Moore keeps it in play as well.
Great effort there from 2 Caledonia Gladiators to deny Ward Hibbert the rim.
Whelan keeps going to the basket and he lays it in, and he wants a foul as well. Referees say play on, but this is a moment here. They've got it to 15. Coach Stutl has thought, hang on a minute. We've got a block at one end and we've got another score at the other. He doesn't want to give them any little step in. Well, coming up every Monday during the playoffs is Derek and Stan with double-double.
Hey, what's up everyone? It's Stan here.
Derek Eza here, aka The Israels.
And we are the hosts of a brand new playoff show live from the Virgin Media game pack called Double Double.
Yes, sir. Listen, we are live at 7 p.m. on Mondays. Be there. TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, talking about the game, breaking down, you know, what's happening in the playoffs, just having a conversation.
We'd love to hear from you guys as well, so make sure you get us in the comments. Tell us what you think. Let's have a bit of fun while we get ready for the biggest basketball games of the year.
With that being said, be there or be square. Back to you guys.
Every Monday, Derek and Stan, make sure you check them out. I'm sure they'll be talking about the semi-final lineup, which we might well know by the end of today, because London are winning, Cheshire are winning, Newcastle are winning. So we're staring down the barrel of 3 2-0s unless one of these 3 teams can find a way back into it. Newcastle trying to put Caledonia away here in the third quarter. Up by 15.
And Gareth trying a little something different on the defensive end, throwing a little zone here to try and get Newcastle off their stride.
But that's not the guy to lose in a zone, Will Neighbour.
Didn't quite work this time. Will Neighbour's one of those guys that is an absolute no-no, cannot be shooting the ball from outside the three. He's got to put the ball down on the floor. And the Caledonia Gladiators fell asleep.
Well, he's a stride or two back from the three-point line, but if he's that open, he's going to knock it down. Moore. Jimenez drops it off. Ali Hodgic rocks the rim.
Nice drive and dish there from Jimenez. That's what you get from him. Point guard play, and Ali Hodgic there for the dump-off finish.
Johnson backs away. They look to switch back. He takes advantage of that. His Neighbour open again. Not this time. Moore, it's not a pass he normally makes to Ali Hodgic. You don't see them on the floor very often together. Here's Green through the contact. I'm just looking at this Caledonia lineup now. I cannot believe at any stage this season, Jimenez, Malcolm, Whelan, Ali Hodgic, and Moore as the five. I can't believe they've run that lineup at any stage. Gareth is trying everything right now.
He is absolutely on his last legs with trying to figure out what combination is going to put a run together for his team. We've got two true fives out there and really only one playmaking guard. So, you know, like we said, he's really just throwing the kitchen sink out there now. It's really do or die time for this roster and for his season.
Well, the interesting thing is the spacing of that. When you've got two fives that don't really shoot, they both want to be down in the low block. Can you spread the floor? You saw them trying to pass to each other on the previous play.
And Whelan here with a mismatch. Can he take advantage of Will Neighbour?
Ali Hodgic off the mark, kept in play by Ward Hibbert. All the way to the rim, but not quite on the finger roll for Jordan Johnson. Whelan with a little hesitation to the rim through the contact. Foul is called, and Patrick Whelan will get a bonus free throw. And have we written Surrey off too soon yet? 94-98, 3 minutes to go. Could they somehow force a game three, the Scorchers? That would be quite a result if Lloyd Gardner's team somehow find a way to win the last few minutes.
Can never underestimate the power of the SSP.
Well, that is the thing. It's one of those places when it gets rocking, and I'm sure it'll be rocking right now. Cheshire still lead in Bristol at the end of 3, but only by a couple of scores. Newcastle have the most comfortable lead of the games going on. Johnson trying to add to it. Oh, and Ali Hodgic couldn't quite grasp that one.
Would have been a big stop there for the boys in blue. Couldn't quite grab it.
Well, foul trouble has been an issue all game for them. And that's part of the reason for maybe this lineup as well. Well, you never know here. A three-point shot, a stop, 10-point game going into the fourth. They've got to find a way of putting pressure on Newcastle. While it's double figures, the Eagles will always be comfortable. Ali Hodgic can't quite get that one to drop, but an offensive rebound.
Can they make something of this broken play here?
Oh, another one. Oh, it falls into the hands of Neighbour. It looked like it was going to be another offensive rebound. Austin in the open court. Austin keeps going. Ali Hodgic knocks it away, and it's 5.4 on the clock for Newcastle to add to this 13-point lead.
Yeah, frantic end to this third quarter here. Can Newcastle really put a stamp on this, you know, aggressive third quarter for them?
Oh, they're losing this quarter by 2. Neighbor trying to level it up. That's not a great shot. Very early in the clock as well. A half-court heave does not go. So Newcastle still with a 13-point lead going into the fourth. Can they see it over the line? Or do Caledonia have one last response? Find out after this break. Well, our colleague Drew Lasker and his family in the house. I don't know if they won the Chuck a Duck at the end of the third quarter, but they were up the front. I don't know if Drew had a duck. You would expect all his years of shooting, he'd be able to hit the center of the court with one of the...
You would like to think that he let his son throw the duck, but
well,
some things
he's a competitor. He want to win. That is a foul on the floor. And that will be a Newcastle possession. And this is, for Newcastle here, just about, let's keep it double figures. Let's not allow them to get back to single figures, because then the nerves start to kick in the building. Even if it's not on the court, the fans start to worry a little bit.
Yeah, well, continue to play the way you've played the whole game and the whole series, you know. Keep being aggressive on the defensive end and being super direct when you get the chance to run an offense.
Well, he got trapped underneath there, Austin. Ended up throwing it out of bounds because he was worried about the 3-second violation as much as anything else. Jimenez to the rim, tried the reverse layup. Ward Hibbett knocks down the corner three.
Not necessarily known as a three-point shooter, but not in this case, you know, in that corner, that's his sweet spot too. You can't leave him wide open there. He'll make it.
Well, Baldwin into the game at the start of the fourth quarter, so Baldwin and Moore out there. Again, different lineup for the Gladiators. In the corner is Kyle Johnson off the mark. Austin into the key, looking for options. Back out to Johnson. And that's a grab foul. Well, they're almost finished down in Guildford. Last 30 seconds, it looks like London have seen it through in the end, despite 35 points from Cameron Gooden, 8 of 11 from the three-point line. Have yourself a game, Mr. Gooden. But it's going to be in defeat, and London are going to make it a 2-0 win in the series, and they will be the first ones to book their place in the semi-finals. Newcastle trying to join them here tonight, and Johnson is called for the foul. It's his third. Just trying to gamble on a steal.
Yeah, William was ready to go behind the back and then make a play in the middle of the lane, but it's probably a good foul there from Johnson, even though he disagrees with the call. But Gladiators would have been in a favourable offensive position there if he had got by him.
That's the foul trouble for Newcastle. Green, obviously the most significant on 4 fouls, particularly when one of them is a technical. Off the mark from Whelan. It hasn't been their night from 3-point range, has it? Just 1 for 15. There's Newcastle in the open floor. Well, they back it out for 3 instead. Ward Hibbett with the rebound.
Yeah, Larry Austin didn't feel like going up against Clifton Moore underneath the rim. Probably a good choice from him there as the open 3, but Johnson is super direct, getting all the way to the lane for the and one.
He doesn't care who's in the lane. He is going, and he has the ability to finish from all different types of angles. We talked about it at the beginning of the show, how well he gets to the free throw line.
Well, he's so quick down that lane and he gets so low, so when he beats his initial defender, he almost opens up that lane, and then when he sees the opposing defender trying to come to block him, he's so good at using his body to get that defensive player out of the way to finish.
Well, Cheshire look like they're about to join London in the semi-finals as well. They lead by 12 down at Bristol. So it looks like 1 and 2 are getting through. It looks like number 6 is getting through as well here, as the Newcastle Eagles are closing in on a series clinching win. That will just leave the 4-5 battle left to be done, which game 2 is tomorrow night in Leicester. Sheffield 1-0 down, so the Sharks need to win on the road to send that to game 3 on Sunday. And don't forget, you can see that one on the tomorrow night, 6:45 tip-off for that one. Tipped in by Clifton Moore Jr.
Moore still showing his skill set in this game. You know, he's really trying to keep them within striking distance with the season on the line.
Confirmation of that game tomorrow. Leicester against Sheffield on Sky Sports. 6:45 tip-off for that one. Oh, that nearly went in for Jordan Johnson.
More contact creation there from Johnson. Tried to finish with the high arc off the top of the glass. He nearly got it to go. His body control is amazing to watch at the speed he's going at.
Well, as it stands, Newcastle are going to set up a date with London in the semi-finals, because they will be the lowest seed to qualify, in London obviously the number 1 seed, unless there is some sort of miraculous recovery from Bristol in the 4th quarter.
I think if you ask anyone around the league if this Newcastle Eagles team was going to find themselves in the 6th seed going into the playoffs, I don't think many people would have believed you.
No.
It's going to be a really exciting matchup to see London against Newcastle in this next round. One of the only teams this year that have actually beat the Lions in the regular season. So if we can see a Newcastle Eagles team firing on all cylinders, if Mark Stewart's really got these guys ready to play, that's a series that people should really keep their eyes on.
Well, London are through now. They have beaten Surrey 96-105, the final score. Heck of an effort from a short-handed Surrey Scorchers team. They were men down, and yet they made 17 three-pointers, 17 of 32. That was the way they competed this season from that three-point line, and they did it right to the last. Unfortunately for them, not quite enough, and you can see they're going through the handshake lines there. And Surrey's season is over, but they have done it, at least themselves some credit in that final game with an excellent performance by the looks of it. looks like Gareth Murray in the Caledonia Gladiators season is coming close to an end as well, with 6.5 minutes to go and potentially down 20.
It's a long way back here in this next 6 minutes, and again, like we mentioned earlier on, it's tough for these players to sort of blow past that mental wall of staring down Goliath at this point. So how can they finish off their season in a way that they can be proud of?
Well, there was a few opportunities where they got it to 13, and you thought if they get the next score, they get it to 10, just have a run. And it seemed like Newcastle always responded with the next score in that situation.
Yeah, Newcastle just kept throwing haymakers the whole game, especially here with Whitfield hitting another 3. But for me, the Gladiators, you know, from the beginning of this series, you know, Newcastle just had that urgency. They had that extra step, that extra, you know, that dogged mentality. You could tell that they were all locked in. And Caledonia, I think, maybe took these guys a little bit lightly and now have fallen victim for that.
Oh, beautiful. Newcastle in full flow here. And Gareth Murray has to call time. And the Newcastle Eagles running rampant and looking on their way to what ends up being 2 comfortable wins. First leg by 19. This one is 20 plus right now with less than 6 minutes to go. And Newcastle Eagles are trying to get themselves to the O2.
Everyone knows you deserve it. They must be blind like curtains, certain. Anything you got, you've earned it. Sky is the limit, it's reachable. Just jump high, it's achievable. Can't stop me, I'm unbeatable. I'm unbeatable. I'm unbeatable.
Minutes on score. Every time they wanna clash, the winners kicking through the door.
I'm unbeatable.
Just running out of stop. And we're running out the clock. I fail once, never stop. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable.
I'm unbeatable.
I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah.
I'm unbeatable.
I am unbeatable, yeah. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah.
British Basketball League 2024 playoffs. Don't miss any of the action.
Well, it certainly looks reachable for Mark Stoutel and his Newcastle Eagles right now. The semi-finals are only 5 minutes and 44 seconds away. The Eagles fans in full voice, their team dominating this matchup. And as I said at the top of the show, only once before in British Basketball League history in a best-of-3 series has the 6th seed been victorious. It was against the Newcastle Eagles. It was down the road at the old Telewest Arena. They were beaten. I was in the building, actually. They were beaten by 2 by Kevin Cadle and the London Towers, upset and knocked out, but they are doing the opposite here, and obviously they'll be the first 6th seed to win 2-0 in a best-of-3, because that was a game 3 that they lost at home.
A city that's rich with basketball heritage here. You know, these fans, they've had a couple trying years, and it seems as though this roster that Mark Stewart was able to put together, and, you know, credit to them. They've put together a hell of a team, and now they're playing their best basketball.
Well, the lineage of Northeast basketball goes all the way back to the 70s with the old EPAB team that was the first to go. Dave Eldington, of course, a player in those days. He went on to coach Newcastle. He's always in the building watching the game. Great to catch up with him whenever you can. Great historian of the game in the Northeast. And obviously through the Fab Flanoy era, Newcastle dominated, and they're looking to get to yet another semi-final. Timeout is called. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Well, the last time the Newcastle Eagles won the playoffs, that man was in the team. He's on the beers already here, though. He's enjoying it. He's might as well have his Newcastle scarf out there, Drew Lasker. But they're looking to recreate that momentum where they were, they made a run through that playoffs. It was in the COVID season, of course, so all the games were behind closed doors, all neutral sites. Probably should have lost to Sheffield in the quarterfinals somehow. Hit a game-winning shot at the end of the second leg, and probably should have lost to Leicester in the semi-finals. They were down 20, I think it was, in the third quarter of the first leg. Came back to win. And could easily have lost the final as well, but came back to that. Sometimes when you've got some momentum, you can just ride that all the way through a playoff series, and Newcastle certainly have some momentum here.
They're proving to be an extremely efficient offensive team. We knew they could put up points in transition, and we knew they've got so many offensive options. But here they are in clutch games, putting up big numbers.
Well, it looks like the number 2 seed is going to book their passage. It's going to take something. We've seen a few dramatic finishes at the Y's this season where Bristol have scrambled themselves out of a hole, but they've got to find another 13 points, and they have barely 3.5 minutes to do it. Cheshire trying to make it 2-0. London have already made it 2-0. Newcastle on the brink of doing that as well. So that will be a London versus Newcastle series. And then Cheshire will take on the winner of Sheffield and Leicester. Game 2 tomorrow night in Leicester. Game 3, if required, on Sunday in Sheffield. But Sheffield need to win on the road to force that game 3. Here's McGill. Off the mark. And that backing down for Ali Hodzic. Sends Delpesh to the floor. Delpesh gets the foul, and he will go to the line for a bonus. And I think the Newcastle fans originally thought that was an offensive foul, so were cheering it. And now the boos rain down when they saw the number 22 shown to the table. There he goes again. This time he kicks out to Omwas, who knocks down a 3. Only the second 3 of the game for the Caledonia Gladiators. That has been a big hole in their offense. 11% from 3-point range.
Super hard game for the Gladiators to come into here. They had everything against them from the get-go.
There's something going on here. Jimenez, I think, had fouled McGill, and there's a bit of chatter going on. Referee Unsworth is in there to calm it all down. I think Jimenez, was there a foul, or maybe there wasn't? And the referee maybe just stopping it to calm them down. Again, it was one of those where McGill was running along the baseline. Jimenez was trying to prevent him from getting where he wanted to go. McGill's going to attack, get all the way to the rim, and shows them how he does it. Omwas looking for another one. Rebound comes out to Bothwell, and Whitfield didn't see him and just collided into him. He's going to go to 4 fouls.
Huge effort here from to be honest both teams, but you know, Caledonia Gladiators had a really difficult beginning to this game, and the way that the fouls and everything had turned out, it didn't it didn't play in their favour, but here we are with Joshua
Big
Hibbert
round
having
of
a huge
applause for
game.
him. He's had a great game, hasn't he?
Massive game for the Eagles to come off the bench and really be, you know, Mr. Consistent from the three-point line. He was 3 for 4 from 3 for today, which is, some would say, uncharacteristic, but when he's locked in, you know, he's really difficult to stop from out there.
Well, you could see the Newcastle Eagles fans appreciating his effort, and so too Larry Austin as he came back into the game. I mean, really, it's been a collective effort. McGill is probably going to be the leading scorer in the game, but a tremendous effort from Ward Hibbert. I thought Austin has really been the energy behind the team. So too Taj Green as well with a double-double. It's not an easy pick for player of the game. You're going to have to start thinking about that, Evan. It's very much a pick-em from that regard.
100%. This Newcastle Eagles team have brought it on all levels, and this is what Mark Stewart brought them in to do. You know, they're all very talented in their own right, but they all have their own qualities which help them shine, and I think that it's been a complete team effort here from the Eagles.
Ron West comes away with it. Final couple of minutes here of the Caledonia Gladiators season. It has been a landmark season for them, obviously. Moving into a new venue, that was key for them. Let's just get an update from Bristol, where I believe Andreas Kapoulis has been ejected. So his season's come to an end a couple of minutes before the rest of the team, because Bristol are about to be knocked out of the playoffs. But Andreas Kapoulis has headed off to the locker room. Well, his assistant coaches obviously didn't get in the way quick enough, because there was a game earlier in the season where Andreas was very close to getting ejected, but his assistant coaches played defense on him, and obviously they weren't quick enough today.
Didn't quite have the step.
Here's McGill to the finger roll, not quite. Delpech trying to clean it up, he can't convert. But you have to say, Newcastle have been super impressive over these two legs. I mean, if you go back to the old aggregate system, they would have won by 40 here. It's, you know, they went up and handled business in the leg one, won comfortably on the road, and they've matched and potentially bettered that here at home.
Coach Stewart has got these guys really fired up, you know. It comes down to this point in the season where a guy's really tuned in to what people are trying to achieve, and I think clearly the guys here on the Eagles are really all locked in. They're trying to figure out a way to get to the 0-2.
And then that was the other thing, is he obviously made that call to put Whitfield in the starters, bring Johnson off the bench, and that looks like a masterstroke now, the way they played over these two games.
Yeah, 100%. These guys they've had struggles to find consistency during the year, but with them all now clicking and feeling comfortable in their roles, can they make a real run at this with London Lions approaching?
And that is the question for them and for Caledonia. Well, obviously losing Quad A Green to injury today is a massive loss to them, no doubt about that, and then all the foul trouble they had. But even at full strength in the last game, they were well beaten by Newcastle. Well, what might have been is the question that the Gladiators fans are watching, seeing their leading scorer sat on the bench, unable to participate next to the coaches. There was a technical foul called as well. So that is why Carl Johnson is on the free throw line, lining one up for... But it's just chipping away, really. Is it over in Bristol yet? Not quite, but it nearly is. 50 seconds to play. 50 seconds from Cheshire booking their spot, and Cheshire will know when they get off court and they see the result here, they will know that it is either Leicester or Sheffield who they will play in the semi-finals.
And right, two franchises here, Caledonia Gladiators and Bristol Flyers, who are bowing out for the rest of the season. But two franchises that can be really proud of what they put on the court this year, both playing in European competitions, which is huge for the league. And, you know, they put some really, like, a great season for them together. So they got to pull the positives from this, even though their season's ending tonight.
Not just playing in Europe, but playing well and holding their own. I mean, Caledonia was super unlucky. They won 3 games and didn't qualify for the knockout stages of the Europe Cup, and obviously Bristol did make the playoffs. 2 tremendous seasons, but right now it is all about the Newcastle Eagles. The Geordies are on their feet. Their team is going to the semi-finals. The Newcastle Eagles have upset the seedings and they've swept the Caledonia Gladiators out of the playoffs. Newcastle advanced to the semi-finals.
Huge playoff performance here from the Eagles on both legs. You know, they came with the intention. Mark Stewart was preaching to them in the locker room, and they came out and they executed with aggressiveness and, you know, real professionalism here from this group.
Well, I said to you it wasn't easy for your player of the game. Which way did you lean in the end?
They've had contributions all over the floor, but my player of the game today is Ricky McGill, who led them from the very beginning. You know, he got hot early and allowed for that offense to start clicking, and then he got his other guys involved, finishing with 3 assists and 4 rebounds to go with it.
Well, honourable mentions, I think, for Austin, for Ward Hibbert, for Taj Green, for Defoe. Could have gone anyway with that, but Ricky McGill just edging it out, and these Newcastle Eagles fans will know they have one more home game to come to, and who knows where it might lead them. It's not an easy task, obviously, taking on the London Lions, but as you said earlier, they've beaten them this season. They've given them some good games this year as well.
Yeah, a team that's super talented across the board, like we mentioned earlier. This group are built for a good playoff run here, so I don't think that they'll be too worried about who's in front of them. I know that Mark Stewart will be super high on his guys, and I know that his guys are super confident in themselves.
Well, that is definitely it. And there's nothing better as a fan knowing you got one more game. You came here tonight, you were thinking, could this be the last time? We got one more game. We're coming back next week to get behind our team. And that is the juxtaposition of this time of year where you never quite know where the road ends. But for Newcastle, the road will continue, and they will be hoping to get all the way to the O2. But we are now joined by our player of the game, Ricky McGill, with a little pep talk from Taj Green there as well. Ricky, first of all, congratulations. You've upset the seeding and swept the Caledonia Gladiators 2-0. Talk to us about these 2 performances against Caledonia.
We just came out, played our game. First game, we knew we got to win. Second game, we knew they were going to come out and try and beat us today. So we just tried to play harder today and got the win.
And how important was it for you guys to start this game really well, get that early lead, and show that you were the dominant team in this series?
I mean, we had our ups and downs this year. Expect the unexpected, man. I mean, I feel like we're playing our best basketball. I mean, look at the guys. We got a good group of guys. I mean, we just got to come out and try and get a win every day.
Hey Ricky, Evan Walsh here. Just want to say congrats on the game, man. You played great. You know, you started the offense off, you know, scoring from all 3 levels. But speak to the depth of your team here when you're coming into the playoffs. Like, it's not just you every night, but speak to the how you guys are gonna move forward here in this playoff.
Just be prepared every day. Just keep getting better. Keep preparing each other for the next upcoming game. I don't know who we play next, so we just gotta lock in and stay to it.
Well, I can tell you it is the London Lions that you will play next. So good luck in the semi-finals against them. An excellent performance.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, let's have a look now at the statistics from this game. And we talked about it at halftime. Caledonia's 3-point shooting didn't get any better. The steals continued to come for the Newcastle Eagles.
Yeah, the trends stuck to form for the rest of this game. You know, the Gladiators, they really struggled to find their consistency, and that comes down to their guard play. They didn't have the main guy that was distributing the ball all over the floor. And again, turning the ball over against this Newcastle Eagles team is trouble.
Well, they certainly are, and we can get some reaction now from the Newcastle Eagles coach, Mark Stewart. Mark, congratulations on the win. You've won 2 games by a comfortable margin against a very good Caledonia team.
Yeah, I mean, I've been, I heard talking about Quade Green obviously being out, but, these guys have obviously played kind of majority of the season without him, and Bothwell came in late Whelan, so, I wasn't concerned about that. Our guys had planned all week for him to play, and, we had different ideas what we wanted to try and put out there. Obviously, he wasn't fit. I was proud of how our guys played against, their roster. We had 3 defensive quarters holding them under 20 points. That third quarter, they won by 2 and scored 20, but, yeah, overall, I think that's 80 minutes of really good, solid defensive basketball that I'm proud of.
And obviously they've got some excellent three-point shooters, and you force them into 2 of 19 from the three-point line. Really defended that well.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, there was a couple of looks that we gave up that, I thought we could have got better contests on, but, that's probably me being super critical, Over the course of 80 minutes, we defended the three-point line really well. I thought we did a really good job of, defending tendencies against individual personnel and their actions. So, yeah, defensively, get a chance to exhale for 5 minutes here, but really proud of the defensive effort over 80 minutes.
Hey Mark, Evan Walsh here. Congrats on the playoff win, man. You guys are super fired up. I can see that everybody that stepped on the court tonight, and the guys that weren't even on the court, were really together. What have you implemented in the locker room here for the playoffs?
Yeah, look, I mean, people talking about, basketball and the British Basketball League is good, it gets more people on it, but we hear all the noise, we hear all the noise from different outlets, different people. So, yeah, these guys have had a bit of a chip on the shoulder and, really pleased that we've been able to get that. We understand, it's not getting too high. It's obviously going to give us an opportunity to play in the semi-final. And, we get to sit back now and see how that unfolds. But, yeah, I've said it from day one, these guys are a competitive bunch. We went through a lot of learning this year, guys playing different roles, trying to mesh different things together. But one thing that stayed true is every single one of these guys are pros. They show up every day. They do what's asked of them and more. And, yeah, I'm really proud to coach this group.
Well, they look great over the 2 games. Good luck in the semi-finals, Mark.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, Mark Studel there, the Newcastle Eagles coach, and, well, Ricky McGill, big smile on his face, and we're seeing the Ricky McGill that we know can deliver at this stage of the season. We know what a big-time player he is, and he's an offensive weapon for this team.
Someone that we've seen lead a franchise from the point guard position, and like Coach tested to there, they've had a lot of different players step up at different times in the year, and McGill is one of them. He can lead this team when it comes to it.
Well, he likes the bright lights moments, and he's just such a weapon, because we see him hit the 3 there, we see him get to the basket. He's very hard to stay in front of.
Extremely versatile player, and with the weapons around him, becomes even more difficult. When it's not his day, it's going to be somebody else's.
And another guy who had an excellent performance, and he kind of goes under the radar at times, Josh Ward-Hibbert, but boy, you're going to get a really solid performance from him, and when he's knocking the 3 down like he did today, he becomes a real threat for the Newcastle Eagles.
Yeah, look, the narrative around guys like Josh is a difficult one, because everybody always comes on here and says, he's played really well today, and something that you might not expect from him. But no, this guy is a serious baller who knows what he's bringing to the table every single game.
And it really helps them as well with the energy at both ends of the floor, off the court, really to give life to his team, and he certainly did that today. And, well, Newcastle had it up and down the roster, to be fair, and they thoroughly deserved their victory. Let's have a look then at all of the results from tonight in the British Basketball League playoffs. Well, London were pushed all the way. Cam Gooden, an excellent performance, but not quite enough to keep the Surrey Scorchers going. 96-105 London win, so that's 2-0 to them. Newcastle upsetting the seedings. They won 94-71 to knock Caledonia out, and Cheshire, the number 2 seed, safely through, beating Bristol 91-77. So there's only one quarterfinal still left alive in the British Basketball League playoffs. That is Leicester against Sheffield. It's 6:45 on Sky Sports tomorrow. And can Sheffield turn the tide there, win on the road, and force that one to a game 3, do you think?
Well, a difficult place to go and win a game. Coach Rob has those guys always ready to go. But hey, look, it's a 4 versus 5 seed. No, a 5 versus 6 seed.
4
Sorry,
versus 5.
4 versus
You're
5.
right first time,
Apologies.
yeah.
Yes. So anything can happen.
Anything indeed could happen. We know 3 of our semi-finalists, 1 still to be decided. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again soon. Goodbye.